Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to CR6. This is postseason. This is the round of 32 premier bracket. And to kick us off in postseason, it's going to be the University of Georgia versus Georgia Tech. And I'm joined by my longtime friend Pond and our producer Tango Mango.
Absolutely. I'm really happy to be here. It's actually Chief and I's first cast together, ready for a match of some clean, old-fashioned hate tonight. We're going to be seeing the number 12 seed University of Georgia take on the 21 seed of Georgia Tech Gold. I'm expecting a pretty good match tonight. We'll be going to our first map, Theme Park, momentarily. Chief, what are your expectations coming into tonight?
Well, theme park is the second newest addition into the competitive Rainbow Six Siege pool, and a lot of teams don't have enough strats to be competent on this map. So to bring it out as our first map in this series, that is some big balls by both of these teams, and we have to see which team can orchestrate their best attacking strategies. Now, defending strategies kind of come along with the meta, but the attacking strategies are always delayed by about 10 months. We're gonna have to see how they're able to make that adaptation.
Yeah, and one of the big things with theme park is like a lot of teams, especially as we see in some of the higher tiers of competitive play, it's all about map control. It's all about controlling the sides of the map adjacent to the bomb sites. Like let's say the bomb sites are on the east side, you want to gain west side control. It's all about getting that second floor control and collapsing in. What do you think are some of the keys to actually defend these sites? Because I think defense really does take first before attack.
So it's understanding where you want the attackers to push through from. So when you're defending that top floor, it really doesn't matter if you're in initiation and or dorms. A lot of teams put most of their utility towards the cache side because they understand that the attackers have more buff rooms to work with and thus more angles to actually attack onto the bomb site. And well, sometimes attacking teams read into that with their pre-round drones, and then they do a cafe execute. And that's going to require the defense to basically do a 180-degree turn, a pivot, and then try to move their well utility as quick as possible.
Yeah, and a lot of that does get set up into stages where the defense is able to hold off the attack in stages. But we just got the word we will be going into our match. I'm really excited. Theme park's always an exciting match. Looks like we got a little bit of a 180 right there, but that's nevertheless. I like theme park personally because it's something you and I've talked about a lot, Chief. Is that defenses can play in stages. They have a lot of opportunity to move back and to hold off the attack in stages. And a lot
Yep.
of that can be played on that cache side. And I like that they can, if they're defending, let's say, Armory Throne, you can actually hold that cache side and then rotate back as the defenders or the attackers, my apologies, attempt to actually take control of the top floor. And it gives a lot of maneuverability on defense. I personally really like Theme Park for that reason.
So you're referencing stage-based training. I don't think a lot of people actually understand what that is. And that basically means putting your defense out a little bit further than where you're actually going to hold, snipe away a drone, rotate back to your fixed position, snipe another drone, and then return to where you actually want to hold. Now that place where you hold, it might be cache, it might be initiation, depending on which bomb side you are, but it requires you to have multiple angles of retreat, whether it's to your left, right, behind you. You can never have your back against a wall. If you do that in a stage-based roam, that means the attackers will know exactly where you are and how to counter you. They're going to set up a crossfire and they're going to punish you for that. That's the most important thing with a stage-based roam is never put your back against the wall. And well, for some reference, the most common stage-based roam that is either the SSG style roam or the reading room hold on cafe.
Yeah, and the reading room hold on cafe, I think that's definitely one of the bigger ones. And you were referencing the reading room hold on cafe, referencing to holding the top floor up by Pixel and Piano, and then
Correct.
preventing the push back towards Cocktail and delaying that push as
Yeah.
much as possible, so the attackers don't gain control of Cocktail until let's say about a minute left in the round.
Yeah, you'll see in like Pro League somebody sitting at couches or piano sniping a drone, then they'll retreat to Pixel, snipe another drone, go to washrooms, and then work their way all the way back. So that map can actually have a 5, 6, 7 stages depending on how you like to play and the playable shields that you're bringing. But to bring it back to our first map, which is Theme Park, you can do that in Cash Room, right? There's a giant table in the middle. It can be an island. You can stand up there, you can snipe a drone on the balcony, work your way back over to toilets, and repeat that step till you all the way go back into Vault. So there's a lot of ways that defenders can, manipulate this map into any way they choose, truly.
Yeah, and a roam like that actually makes a lab storage roam or lab storage hold a lot more viable because it allows you to delay the attack a lot quicker because a lot of teams, at least from what I've noticed, are a lot more comfortable actually attacking that second floor rather than pushing on the first
Yeah.
floor because when you push the first floor, especially pushing in let's say maintenance or barrels or even arcade, it's you have to worry about so many different crossfires and you have to drone the second floor as is in order to even push there. A lot of teams will opt to go for that top floor room clear in order to push the first floor objectives.
And it looks like all 10 players are in the lobby. Let's get postseason started here in CR6. We're going to be diving into Theme Park. It is Georgia Tech versus the University of Georgia. Now, the bans on this map have been really a roller coaster over the past few weeks and months because we really saw Thatcher's be the default ban, but Thatcher's actually been left unbanned a lot of times in Pro League for the Ace or Thermite or even the Maverick. But here in T3, I'm still expecting teams to utilize, well, Thatcher as a crutch.
Yeah, I think Thatcher is definitely going to be a very default ban because a lot of teams haven't really I mean, even though Thatcher did have his ban, we still do see him played a lot. It does require a little bit more coordination, but it's more of like a comfort ban because teams aren't necessarily as comfortable attacking or as comfortable defending against a Thatcher as they are attacking with one, and there are workarounds with it. And usually with a Thatcher ban, we could see a Maverick ban come in second, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see an Ace ban coming in right now. And as I say that, Ace is going to be taken off from the University of Georgia.
So this was the map that really pioneered the Valkyrie bans, especially with the Echo quarantine. So I'm expecting to see her removed. Now, we've also seen some clashes sneak her way into the ban phase, but I'm guessing it's going to be an operator with a set of impact grenades and possibly a Maestro who does fit that niche. Now, it is going to be Mira removed, and she can be somewhat oppressive on that top floor, but you do have angles to work around, particular vertical destruction if those mirror windows are going into dorms. A little bit of deliberation needed to find out who our final operator will be, and it will be an operator with impact grenades. It's going to be Malusi.
I'm really liking to see that Mira ban coming out. A lot of teams don't utilize Mira as well as I would really like on that second floor hold. Malusi can place a Mira, I believe, on one of the walls in Vault, or even on one of the walls looking into either of the walls looking into Cache, especially from the Dragon Corridor. Looking in, she can delay a ton of time because trying to clear out that Mira, especially if you have somebody holding either top Dragon or having somebody hold even initiation to prevent a push in from control, she can delay a bunch of time. And I really like seeing the Mira ban come out because she can be she's one of the most oppressive operators on defense on this map.
So we're talking about being oppressive here in Throne Armory. Well, the best way of doing it, as something we were highlighting earlier, was impact tricking. A lot of teams have gone pretty much away from utilizing electric units, whether that is a Bandit or a Kaid, because you can just throw frag grenades over and destroy it almost instantaneously. You also couple that with a Maverick, who can not only destroy it at range with his frag grenades, but also cut away that wall with his blowtorch. It can become very difficult to hold, which is why you try to rely on those impact grenades, because if Thermite attempts to put his gadgetry on the wall, well, that impact grenade will shut him down. We've seen teams double and triple up with that strategy, bring up to 6 impacts.
Especially with Maestro, I personally like bringing a Maestro over bringing a Bandit because not only do you gain the intel of the cams, you get the Aldo, which is a perfect anchoring weapon, and having those impact nades, you almost triple as breach denial, intel, and the arguably perfect anchor, because even if you're the last one left, that 81 round mag, hold down left click, Aldo go burr, keeps teams from pushing in. And even in a 1v3 situation with the amount of ammunition in a one-shot headshot game, as we do a siege, I think it's done very well. But we're gonna see the first pick coming off. We're gonna be seeing Sir Bayan taking off Juan in a very quick fashion. That's gonna be my apologies, that's going to be the Maverick, and that's going to be one of your primary hard breachers, especially with the Bandits still here. But nevertheless, I'm throwing UGA is going to go into Mighty Africa, but a quick flurry of kills as Scorpion tries to take out Dunkel, but it's going to be to no avail because it's going to be left in a 3v3 situation as they just decide to opt against that roam clear and push right in. But we're going to be seeing this Legion push right in and get 2 very quick kills. It's all going to be left onto the Thermite.
It was the attackers that swarmed into Split, taking control of the bomb site, and they, for a quick second, they had control of that site, and they became the defenders. They're trying to get the bomb down, but the rotation didn't come on through for Thermite, and now he's stuck on an island outside of his own bomb site that his team held temporarily. It was a flurry of kills coming on through, and now both of these sides are just going to calm down for the time being. It is going to be on Thermite Casanova to start droning himself in, try to confirm the location of the two lone defenders and create an action plan. He can hear one sitting behind the east of Throne. He's waiting for him to get aggressive, but that's the exact thing. Georgia Tech doesn't have to get aggressive. They've done their due diligence. They've already punished the attackers, and they're now going to try to utilize the clock as much as possible.
Yeah, as we're going to be seeing Casanova attempt to sneak in here against Sir Byron and Jello shots, but Sir Byron is going to get the better of that engagement with a headshot to take him out. That's going to be the first round one for Georgia Tech. A very exciting start to our first showdown in this clean old-fashioned hate.
And that's the thing. It's really impossible to predict a rush strategy like that, especially after you get that opening spawn peak kill. But the attackers saw a hole in the defense. The problem was they didn't go all in. If Casanova was in that full send charge, they would have got the bomb down, and that would have forced basically the defenders to turn into attackers, re-execute on their own bomb site, and they only have two entrances into the site. One is through Split, one is through Dragon Door. That would have been almost impossible for them to execute on. And the only way they really could have, if they'd done that 180-degree crossfire, and even there, with the man advantage, that would have been unlikely.
Yeah, and as soon as, even though the defense got the opening pick, and it was very wonderfully done by Sir Byron, I think that the attack went full in, but I don't think it was really. I think it was really getting called out, and I think that I think that the Thermite was really droning everybody in, and was kind of holding back. But in a rush strat like that, you want to bring the bomb with you. You want to set up a post plant situation because it'll make that kind of strategy work a little bit better. I do want to point out real quick, especially because we're in the CollegiateR6 series, some of the names on the board right now. We got Jello shots. And I am throwing UGA. I just want to give a shout out to those two players right now, with probably two of the better names I've seen in many of the games that I've casted so far.
I will give CR6, you guys have the best names. All of you college students, I don't know what you guys are eating and drinking every day, but the names that you guys are generating are fantastic, and we'll be seeing those not only here in the Premier bracket, but in all our games of 64. But here in the bracket of 32 in Premier, it's going to be the Georgia teams doing battle to the death, and as we saw, it is GT that got the better in round number 1. Now it is going to be a staged round once again, but a little bit less emphasis on the actual extension and just the linear hold.
Yeah, and they are going to be playing a little bit into utility dump. We're going to be seeing 3 shields coming out here, one from the likes of Smoke, 2 coming in from that Goyo, and we are going to be seeing that Jaeger Wamai setup. Really crippling teams, especially in the later rounds. But Jello shots, as the man of the hour, gets Newt off the board very quick on. That's the Jackal. That's your roam denial. And with a nice little clean shot over there, that's going to be very crucial for the defense. And now they're just staging up this roam. They're pushing back. They're delaying the attack. They're keeping them in cafe right now. And we might be seeing Jaeger get a little bit of a quick peek, but Drunken Koss backs off, not holding the angle. And we're just going to be stalling out as the attackers try and find a little bit more intel before continuing their push.
The problem with this execute is it's very linear without any crossfires. It's Casanova changing that as he's going to go into break room and find a second kill, possibly a third, but unable to land that final shot. And it's now Wamai's turn to dish out punishment as he's down a triple kill in this round. Bringing up his cameras was the wrong idea, and that's going to cost him his life. It's going to be forfeit for free as there's now 4 members of this lobby left up and standing as we're only at the halfway mark. It's going to be once again the calm before the storm as both teams prepare to go at each other.
Yeah, it seems like they're playing like New Jersey drivers drive. They seem to hit their foot all the way on the gas, then right on the brakes. A lot of quick moments of action, followed by a little bit more intel gathering before setting up the next quick little burst. We're going to be seeing a nice little long angle played with the SMG-11 from Smoke on the top yellow stairs. He's going to rotate back, trying to prevent this rotate into office as the attackers are trying to gain some intel and figure out where they want to push from. We're going to be seeing Maestro trying to get some control in the break room right now as I Am Thrown is going to just hold this angle, preventing that push out of office as both teams are stagnating, waiting for one to almost make the first move.
But that's the problem. The attackers are going to be the ones that make the first move. The defenders have time on their side. They're just going to delay as much as possible. Mighty is going to accomplish that as he's going to utilize his Toxic Babes. He has one down range, wasting 10 seconds. He's another one down range, and that goes all of his denial. But the rotations by the defenders, what they made earlier, is going to cost those on throw. He's going to walk on in. He's going to land a headshot, and this is going to force Mighty to go for the rotate. The bomb's going to be on the deck momentarily, and there's no answer back whatsoever by our fellow SMG-11 bro, as a bomb will be confirmed. There's 40 seconds left in this round. A slow creep up through waiting room. He hasn't given away his presence yet, and he could get the jump on the attackers, but he's going to have to do it now. They seem to be very aware of his position as flashbangs and grenades are going to go out, and I'm throwing. He's going to get credited with that frag.
Yeah, it looks like Mighty Africa was not able to channel his inner Toto with blessing the reins as I am throwing. Knew the position, threw the flashbang. There wasn't a whole ton he could do as we saw the frag grenade come in there. He would have had to get 2 really quick kills, but even in the end, the frag grenade could have finished him off. The bomb site going down, opening up initiation, really allowed for the attackers to gain that control of site that they needed and force the defenders, or in that case, it was just Mighty Africa into the 1v2 situation, and a 1v2 post plant, especially in initiation with the attackers getting that time to set up into the post plant situation. There's not a whole ton that you can do.
So once again, we're returning back over to initiation office, and the problem was, and something we're talking about in the pregame, is if the attackers elect for a cafe execute, you're gonna have to move all of your utility over to there. It requires about 10 seconds of dedication, and you have to realize it immediately as it's happening. And if you don't, you won't be able to move your, well, utility in that direction. And that's exactly what happened to Georgia Tech. They weren't able to adjust, and all the rotation holes that they set up to do that extension into dorms, well, it came back to hurt them. It's because the attackers utilized them because holes work both ways.
Yeah, and it really does actually go back to that conversation we had on staged defenses. They were trying to stop that push coming from the west side. They were getting the drones, but they were getting a little bit aggressive with some of their peaks. I mean, Jello Shots was able to get that opening kill onto, I believe that was Newt of the Jackal, which is a really good pick to get, but in the end, Jackal doesn't really serve much utility here, as you know where the roamers are going to be. You're not going to be doing a first floor roam clear, so it isn't as impactful as you would like. And what he does is he opens himself up to peek more rather than staging back, setting up a second stage of that defense as we kind of talked about. Force them to over peak and cause them to get maybe a little bit careless with their lives rather than delaying that attack the way that they might like.
So it's going to be identical execute once again coming out by the University of Georgia. And the defenders have made their own adjustments. It's a deployable shield looking straight over to Cafe. But are they also aware that there might be somebody sitting through break room? It doesn't matter when Squash is going to go for the wide swing. Shots exchanged, but no real HP lost by either player. And that's going to be just enough to delay the attackers. Now they have control of Cafe, but that doesn't bring them much. They're going to have to find an avenue and a path out of that room. And the only way of doing that is with a frag. And there's the opening kill, walking down to the mines. That's going to be Newt with the first frag.
Yeah, and that is a very crucial first frag, as you need to get that arcade stairs control, because that really delays and denies that push out of Cafe in order to rotate into either bunks or in order to rotate over the bunks or break to gain the control. But Casanova is going to take off Squash, so that's going to be the first floor roam game. It's really going to rely a lot now on those anchors as the roam game is now done, and the attackers are going to have a little bit more room to adjust, or my apologies, a little bit more room to work with as they're going to want to push onto the site. They're not going to have to deal with any of that roams or delays. They're just going to have to open up the holes they want and to put forward the execute they have in plan.
And with this strategy, you can actually leave reinforcements in your back pocket and reinforce dorms if you realize it's going to be a west execute, which they are. The defense didn't make that adaptation, and the attackers, well, they're going to be starting to set up their crossfires. They're trying to find an avenue to break down ASG. It's going to be a small utility dump, but the flashbangs are going to find their target, but they know that there's still somebody lurking on by. It's going to be a preset frag grenade. It's going to find its target, but only about 5 HP. And that's going to be the signal flare, and the defense are going to start to rotate the majority of its pressure over to initiation.
Yeah, and only one player onto initiation right now. They're going to have to get a little bit more careful with the utility they have as the Goyo rotates in. The C4 not going to net anything, but the attackers still have 30 seconds to work with. they're opening up holes right now, trying to gain any avenues, rotating the Ashe over to control, and trying to put a crossfire and make that Muta as uncomfortable as possible. And as I say that, Casanova rotates right in, but the Goyo rotates in and takes out the Ashe, and a quick flurry of kills as Casanova gets a third on the round. It's all going to be left on to Mighty Africa, left in that 1v2 situation, post-plant, in initiation. Can he redeem himself this time around, as he's going to be in waiting room right now, knowing a player is going to be on the right there. He's going to have to take out that player in control and the player to his right. As the fire's coming in, he's going to try and get some shots off, but nevertheless, Juan taking out Mighty Africa, and that's going to be the second attacking round 1 for Georgia this time around.
A huge blunder by Georgia Tech. They still had the majority of their utility in their back pocket when that execute came through. Now, we saw Mighty. He still had 3 toxic babes when the bomb was down. He tried to use them to push the attackers away in the post plant. Now, in theory, he could have done that if he utilized all 3 of them at the same time, because he would have got the audio cues of the attackers choking, and then he could have set up his engagements on the fly, trying to pick them off one by one. But the thing was, he just went for a Hail Mary toss straight onto Pillar, and that really wasn't good enough to gain any information whatsoever. He elects to go for the challenge, and the only thing he loses in that challenge is his life. Now we're going back over the theme. The attackers, they were almost successful the last time they were here. The rush strategy nearly worked. It was just not as coordinated as it needed to be. If they're able to find that exact same path, it in theory could work.
Man, I'm loving this chat coming in right now. Casanova giving his compliments out there to Mighty Africa, and man, they're going back and forth. I know this is supposed to be that nice, clean, old-fashioned hate showdown, but we're seeing nothing but love between these two teams as we go back to this Armory, right back to this Armory defense. They are going to be setting up for this top floor extended hold here. It looks like we're going to be seeing the Mozzie playing above, but I do agree with you. It was a little bit curious as to where the Toxic Babe went out, but at that point in time, he could have assumed a player playing to the right and throwing the Toxic Babe over towards control. That's more of an attempt to try and prevent that player from rotating in from control, but the Toxic Babe had missed, and it really didn't delay much. It was really a Hail Mary attempt, and didn't net as much as he would have liked in the end.
And that's what I was saying, utilize those toxic babes as just an information tool, because you'll hear them choking away, and they'll give you almost the exact location, at least if your headset's good enough and if you're able to kind of like triangulate where that's from, which can be very difficult on the fly, but that is a tool I think a lot of people overlook. The attackers are getting map control very quickly. They're going to actually start to light up the scoreboard. A little bit of damage dealt to Squash, but not enough to actually fell him in this endeavor. He's going to try to snipe away drones, but you can hear Maverick opening up this cache wall, so he's going to do a jack-in-a-box strategy. He's going to shoot bullets back range, but not actually finding its target.
Yeah, and I'm liking this. I'm liking this stage roam. They're getting a little bit more aggressive on it, which I think is going to work out for them. But no, Newt's going to push in, take out Squash, who's already left on a little bit lower of HP, with a nice little rappel in here from Break Room, as he's going to get Jello shots down, and that's going to be the 2 roamers upstairs, as he's going to be finished off very quickly by I Am Throwing, and that's first floor control for the attackers. They're really left to try and clear out these anchors on the site, and very similar to the last round we had seen, but this time around it's going to be 5 attackers, as they're going to be gaining their intel out, trying to clear out, trying to figure out the info that we already know, that there are no more roamers, and they're going to be set up for an execute onto the site.
Now, fortunately for the attackers, they still have plenty of utility in their back pocket, particularly those floor breaching charges we can hear start to blow up all above the attackers. Also, couple this with the ITA, and that Jackal Inox is going to find one. This is going to force the defenders in some very awkward positions, because they're all basically set up in fire. If they get a nice angle on, because you can kind of see their feet, this will be a free frag. And we see Sir Bane on his back, as he is now down but not out. He was close enough to his teammate to get a res, but no longer they rotate a completely new area. Hard breach is going to go off on the back of Yellow, and this is the attacker's turn to pounce on the bomb site. Pings are going to give out that the player is confirmed down, and now it's just effectively a 2v5 as the attackers wait the dying seconds to confirm the exact locations of the last remaining members.
This is all going to come down to the last remaining seconds. Very beautifully executed right here. Juan Desan is going to finish off the lead invasion. Just as he is down, it's all going to be left on to Mighty Africa as New's going to finish off Scorpion. And the plant is going to go down, but not much is going to be able to happen. Flawless round from UGA. Beautifully executed right there. As we are going to be moving to 3-1.
The problem is for Georgia Tech is they're playing far too passive and they're never going in multi-person engagements, right? Every engagement they're going in is basically a 1v1 or in favor of the attackers, a 2v1 or even a 3v1. And it really doesn't matter how good of a player you are, you're never going to be able to kill 3 attackers that are basically have a 90-degree cross for you. It doesn't matter how good you can be. Bolo, Pengu, you might be able to take one person down, but you're not taking all 3 people down, assuming if they coordinate properly. And the same thing can be said for the defense. The defense are far too passive, and they're basically just sitting back, relaxing, and letting the attackers basically bully them in any way possible, especially Mighty. He needs to be far more active with those smoke grenades, and as soon as that wall gets opened up, that's your first toxic babe out. And then at the 20-second mark, repeat all the way down to 10, and the attackers will have to push through that smoke and take damage through that smoke if they want to plant.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, and one of the things I want to give a lot of credit to that round, and I think one of the keys to winning that round was Newt playing on the break room window, having that angle looking into, I believe that's bunks, and catching those players on the rotate back. He got 2 kills there. That was Jello shots and Squash. Those are both of your top floor roamers. As soon as the attackers got control of the top floor, having all your players on the having all your players on Armory Throne, all the attack needs to do is gain vertical control of Armory, get all the utility off the wall, open up the armory wall while contesting the players from below, hopefully taking one down, which they had with Servion, and they had an easy avenue to push on because now it's just essentially a 5v2 with all horizontal gunfights where you can essentially trade out your teammates, and unless you're playing against someone with godly aim like Shaiko, no one's winning against those kind of gunfights. But nevertheless, Squash is going to be getting in an early engagement as he's going to be trying to hold off this cafe corridor, pushing both the arcade window and the cafe door, attempting to get that drone, struggling a little bit, but is able to finish it up in the end. Dumps about 2 mags in that drone. Maybe he hasn't practiced a little bit of the drone hunting and T-hunt, but nevertheless, we're going to be seeing the Zofia push just right up into arcade as she's going to be looking for just about anything. Knowing a player on arcade stairs, she's going to find the head of Squash and is going to rotate right into bunks. She's going to be looking for heads as she's just pushing right in. A very swift roam clear coming in, a minute in, and they already have the control they want in break room, yellow, or my apologies, not yellow, cafe, and catching the player rotating in yellow.
I was going to say Jello Shots was in a very precarious position. He had no chance of moving, but it's going to be Mighty as he's going to go for the wide swing and find 2 kills of his own. That is going to be your 2 primary entries taken down and back to equal man count. Mighty has been struggling through the majority of this series, but he will struggle no longer as he's going to dish out some of the most important kills in round number 5. A thermite charge can go off, and this is going to be the attackers a line of sight into initiation. This is the first step of their crossfire.
Mighty Africa living up to his name as a player with a plus 74 kill differential throughout the seasons. Very, very strong player. Just coming alive here, living up to his hype. I mean, the attackers had the avenue to push right there, but he was delayed quite a bit as we're going to be seeing Casanova try and come into an engagement here in control, able to get out some of the health on that Goyo, but not able to finish him off as a frag grenade comes in, clears out the position. Juan de Swan taking out Scorpion, but we're going to be seeing the Goyo taking out Casanova, but Juan's going to trade out Casanova as it's all going to be left on to Mighty Africa. A 2v1 post-plant situation initiation. Man, this is a little bit of deja vu as the plant's going to be going down. Can he redeem himself for the 3rd time? As a wise man once said, 3rd time's the charm. But he's going to be looking for that rotate from yellow corridor, but it's not going to be coming as he knows there's going to be a player playing over an initiation, but not knowing where that second player is going. He's going to rotate over in, but nevertheless, Drunken Cos, the man who's been crazy, gaining the control in the beginning of the round, cleans it up, and that is going to be 4-1 for Georgia, University of Georgia.
I don't want to be too critical of Georgia Tech, but once again, they're not utilizing their utility. They have nitro cells, 2 of them in fact, as well as those toxic babes. 3 Toxic Babes were in the back pocket of Mighty as he fell. Now, sure, he got instrumental kills, 2 of them off a wide swing, but after that, he should have started to use his utility. We honestly need Georgia Tech to basically rotate Smoke on over to Initiation, and whoever's being relegated over there tends to be either the Goya or the Mute. Mute basically come over to the Office's side, and that way we can get better usage of those smoke grenades, because we have to have smoke grenades downrange, because that's 30 seconds of plant denial and entry denial, area denial, that the attackers are basically getting away scot-free because the defenders just aren't utilizing them.
Absolutely. And if there's anybody out here to point out lack of utility usage here, Chief, it's going to be you. That's what you yell at me at all the time when we're playing is, man, you got to use a little bit more utility. And that's something that they can really utilize right now. And another thing I think they really have to utilize is if they're going to be having that extended hold, they have to understand the avenues where the attackers can push from. We saw Casanova go right into break room almost uncontested, and we saw Drunken Cos push right into Cafe as soon as they knew that they pushed that defender down arcade stairs. They didn't have to worry about anybody pushing from that deployable shield in Yellow Corridor as that player had already rotated off. They gave up all that control early on, and it allowed for the attackers to gain that control very quickly. And I gotta give props right now to UGA. They're gaining the intel that they need. They're making the calls they need to make. They're getting aggressive when they need to. They are putting their foot on the brake a little bit quickly, and they are getting a little bit careless with some of their swings, not covering some of their crossfires, but they're playing into the way that Georgia Tech is defending right now very well, and I'm really loving it. But something to look forward to is Squash playing from below with that Nitro Cell, potentially seeing a multi-kill coming up as he's got that intel upstairs, as he knows that these attackers are going to be pushing from Cafe. Hopefully we're going to be seeing a rotate over there to get maybe a few kills and to equalize out this round for his team.
I was going to say, Georgia Tech has the option of bringing out a Pulse or even a Valkyrie to maybe get a cheeky Nitro kill, get the man advantage back in your favor, because, well, GT has done that a few times. They've been able to really punish UGA when they get those opening kills. Now, we've seen some mechanical brilliance about both of these rosters, and it just comes down to better micro positioning. And right now, it's going to be ASG attempting to do exactly that. He's on an island, but he can snipe away drones to potentially grab an attacker if they don't drone him out. But he will be caught out, and he's going to be forced to rotate away, as he's actually calling for reinforcements, as it's going to be a dual hold of yellow.
Squash is going to rotate from below. A potential deadly Nitro Cell coming up as all the attackers going to be laid right in the line, but not able to get some. But nevertheless, Scorpion's going to get 2 kills. As Sir Byron gets a third, it's going to be a 2v5 as the attackers pushed in. They ran right into the gunfire of the Mozzie and the Jaeger. It's going to be all left on to Casanova and Newt. A rush push in that was called immediately out by Georgia Tech. Failed Nitro Cell from Squash, but that Nitro Cell cleared them out, and they were shot like fish in a barrel.
Well, 60 seconds left in this round. Casanova's gonna have to go for the plant, but there's no rotation between the 2 bomb sites. This could be a huge blunder as the bomb's gonna go on down. There's no possibility of making a rotate on the fly, and Newt's gonna find a kill of his own, but he's looking the wrong way, but the 180-degree flick is gonna get him an easy kill. And now the attackers have the bomb down with a guaranteed 45 seconds in the round. Newt's gonna find his 3rd kill. He's unstoppable right now, but he's gonna be put on his back and stopped for the time being. Squash to get another kill, and now it is just your lone hard breacher sitting at 51 HP. He's gonna have to make the evolution of Fragmite. He's gonna do it once, but unable to do it twice.
Oh my god, as Squash pushes in, gets the most crucial kill of the round. As he's gonna find that diffuser, in Georgia Tech, who had the initial control of that round, lost it due to a missed rotation hole. What a freaking round. As we're going to see right here on the replay, they're all just going to push right in. Scorpion's going to get the kills that he needs, and that's 3 quick kills, what should be a severe advantage from the defense. A lack of a rotation hole gave the attackers an avenue to honestly win that round out, and by any means, they should not have won that, and it should not have been as close as it was. Nuke getting those 2 very crucial picks helped them out so much, but however exciting that round came out to be.
Wow, like I was saying, it looked like Jaeger's position was known. I swore the drone looked at him. That's why Valkyrie was called to help him up. But the attackers either forgot about his presence or thought, hey, we've droned him out. There's no possible way he's still going to be here. That would be utterly brain dead. And when you die to plays or why did I die to this or why was he here, that is always your fault. So if you ever hear yourself uttering those words, why was he here? That means you didn't do your due diligence. That means you didn't check corners. That means you didn't drone. You didn't check cameras, something on those lines. You should never die to that. And sadly, well, UGA found that out the hard way.
I think it honestly came down to more of a call is that they knew he was there, and I don't think it was called out who was actually going to engage him, because you saw the players rotate over to Arcade, and you saw, I believe it was Juan that rotated over, because all three players rotated over to Cafe initially, and then ducked back, and in that kind of duck back in order to contest the Jaeger at the top of yellow, was immediately contested, and as
5 seconds to insert.
as my apologies, as Scorpion kind of knew that positioning, he had the position of all the attackers known. They knew all 5 of them were pushing from Cafe. He just pre-fired them as they pushed around the corner, and that pre-fire, that's an advantage gunfight for the defense. And he got 2 very quick kills, and then they fell right to the arms of Serbian. So I think it was really a missed call and a miscommunication there from the attack. But again, I mean, you can't just assume someone's just gonna rotate after getting droned out. I know that sometimes when I'm playing, I make that crucial decision if I see a drone come through, and I'm like, well, I guess we're in a swing or be swung meta, and if I see a drone coming through, I'm gonna swing.
And that's the thing about a staged drone, right? You actually have that option of sniping away that drone and standing your ground. And that's the power of it, because the attackers are going to have to re-drone that position if they confirm you're still there. Well, that's 2 drones you basically get to snipe away for free, and then you finally get to rotate thereafter. Now, you can see some mute jammers going off. That might be a little bit of hassle for Georgia Tech, but they're going to walk around it, as there's not a lot of utility up on that top floor, except for 2 lone members of now the defense. Squash gonna work his way up to waiting room. Shots exchange. He's gonna win that gunfight. No answer back, as a player of Casanova's unable to go for that wide swing, and that could have been a huge blunder. Not playing off your teammates and allowing the attackers to get the upper hand.
Casanova playing a little bit passive there, as this stage of Rome is going to be taken out very quickly. 1:35 left in the round. And the player on top of Yellow Stairs attempting to get a little bit of a cheeky peek, but Jello Shot's going to shut that down very quickly. Juan the Swan taken out. And that's going to be one of your Nitro Cells off and one of your players roaming. So now Casanova's going to have to rotate back to site. And the attacker is going to be set up into a very similar situation we saw on the last Armory Throne round from the last Armory Throne attack from the University of Georgia. They're just going to have to take out that soft destruction in office, clear out the players playing over in Throne, or my apologies, playing over in Armory, and they can just clear out that wall at the bottom of Yellow Stairs, and they can push on very easily. The defense is going to have to get some vertical destruction coming through, but they're not going to have any C4s to delay that vertical push. They're going to have to either contest those holes or hold strict to their guns, as it's going to be all left onto the anchors. But nevertheless, Jackal's going to take out Casanova. It's going to be a 2v5. Not looking really good right now for University of Georgia.
You're highlighting the guns of the defenders. There's 2 of them up alive with 30 seconds left. In theory, they could hold this out, but they're going to have to hit every single one of their shots. Drunk is going to find one. He's going to go for the wide swing and confirm the second. Now it's the attacker's turn to push back on through and actively deal with his position. Now the back wall will be opened up, but it doesn't matter to Drunken, as he is now on a 3K in this round. Pre-fires from the SMG-11 is going to answer his call, but they don't know exactly where he is, as he's going to be making his rotation all the way over to Yellow. That's going to be the 4K, looking for the ace, but stolen away from IM throwing. This was a sure round for the attackers, but unable to coordinate on their execute is what it's going to cost them in the long run.
What a roller coaster of a round. I mean, Georgia Tech had everything set up to take that, but it took them so long to get that breach denial off the wall. Georgia was just, they allowed IM Throwing to do the exact opposite of his name, as he just swung right out there and said, well, we're in a 2v5 situation. If we play passive here and they're able to get the trades in, we're going to lose these gunfights. He did exactly what he needed to do, didn't get patient with it. And I know a lot of the times in 2v5s, you want the attackers to get aggressive, but in a situation like that, with your back against the wall, if you're able to catch the attackers off guard, he did exactly that. He got a 3K preventing any push coming in from the connecting hall,
Defenders, protect
and
your
was just
bombs
able to
from being
rotate
defused
around
by
to the
attackers.
breach, and the attackers couldn't do anything. They were the ones that are going to be stuck in a fish in a barrel. It's almost like a Uno reverse card was played right there as they were able to take a round back that, in all honesty, the defense should not have won.
And you're highlighting deja vu earlier, but this would be almost the exact same strategy that both of these rosters are utilizing. The big Goyo shields facing to the east, and a player with a long-range scope is now going to be drunken with the Rook back towards that B bomb site over by the couch, trying to look as far to the east as possible and catch an attacker well off guard. Now, the problem with the strategy is the exact same thing that they were doing on attack, and that was doing the West style execute. You can push behind all the defenders' utility, and you can catch them off guard. And again, same thing I said to Georgia Tech, and same thing I'll say to University of Georgia. When you're defending and you realize the attackers have done the 180, they're pushing from the west, all your utilities facing the east, it is imperative that you move your deployable shields ASAP.
Yeah, and it looks like very interesting enough, it looks like the defense is not going to opt to go for as strong of a cafe hold as they had, or not as strong as a cafe hold as the Georgia had. They're going to opt to go a lot more for that that east side hold, because I honestly think this is a little bit from VOD reviewing these two teams, or possibly scrims, because we saw them attack cafe a little bit stronger, but we're seeing a little bit more of a 180 coming in here from the likes of Georgia Tech. Nevertheless, they're going to be just moving forward, trying to gain control of Cash as fast as possible. Squash is going to be moving in, and as the Ash, he's just going to move in, rely on his guns, try and get that gunfight down, able to clear out Newt. Very similar to what we saw that last round as he had the opening kill onto Newt, and he's going to be trying to gain this control into the office showers and try and get that control, my apologies for saying control, onto office, clear out that Goyo as quick as possible to set up the execute.
So far, the defenders are trying to hold the line. It's going to be a tandem kill rolling through for both of these teams, but it's going to be more orange flying through that scoreboard. Once again, the defenders are stuck in a 2v4 this time instead of a 2v1. The M590 is going to go aggressive, try to snipe somebody across the map, but buck shotguns don't work out that well. And now it is poor Drunken alone on an island with all of his comrades laying around him. He's going to have to hold the fort and try to stop the attackers of Georgia Tech from flooding on in. Now Georgia Tech is going to try to play this as passively as they can, confirm Drunken's location, and then go for the execute.
It's a 4v1 situation. We should be able to see the attackers take this pretty clearly, but in this match, I don't think anything's surefire, as we've seen the craziest of crazy happen, especially when down, as Drunken is going to be stuck in break room, back against the wall. First shot's going to be coming out, a little bit of help from Jello Shot's going to be taken down, but nothing able to come out of it. The headshot missed, as he's just going to be stuck in break room, and the attackers are going to have to rotate over in order to get that plant down to push Drunken Koss onto the offensive. And as I say that, Scorpion is going to be getting that plant down, and it's going to be up to Drunken Koss to fight his way out, but no avenues to do so. 42 seconds left on that diffuser as he rotates out of break, but I don't think the defenders know he's rotating over here. They're able to hear him, they might be able to get that shot, but they're still holding the eagle onto break room. He's going to be able to see the feet right now of Scorpion. He's going to try to get the flick up, but Jello Shot's getting a little bit of revenge for those few little ticks of damage taken off. And that is going to be a first attack, round one by Georgia Tech.
And maybe this map is going to be, well, just attacker-sided, as both defending rosters are getting far too aggressive. They're putting themselves on an island with no possibility of any refrag. Once again, this is that brilliant kill from Squash as he works all his way up to toilets, and there's no answer back from the defense. That is a perfect way of showing my point, right? There's no way for the defenders to answer that kill back. They haven't set up their crossfire, and they're putting players on an island. They've seen it in Pro League that teams are well holding that waiting room or island site. Why are they doing that? Well, they're trying to waste utility, but it requires at minimum 3 defenders to actually make that happen, and we don't see the University of Georgia, as well as Georgia Tech when they're playing that for that matter, utilizing 3 defenders. They're only doing 1 or 2 up there.
Yeah, and honestly, they're giving up that control of Cash very quickly, and I think a big reason for that is actually that mirror ban that I talked about before. Mirror is able to play onto that Dragon Corridor wall and is able to get a nice little peek into there to cash, and it really makes that cash push a lot harder. But because they aren't contesting cash as well and they aren't able to really prevent that push from cash, it allows players like Squash, the entry fragger, to push right into showers, and because they aren't trading them out, it is putting the attack at a lot greater of an advantage.
10 seconds remaining.
So once again, it's going to be another attempt here in bunks and dorms. So hopefully the defenders are able to make those adjustments. Now, once again, we're going to see some of the same deployable shields to be put, especially this one in vault. The problem with the vault shield is you're going to have to actively play that to deny that power position the attackers are going to gain throughout the round. If you're playing it very passively, well, we're going to see exactly the same thing. Squash walk on through, get an easy kill, and then retreat before the defenders can even put bullets down range. Ash charges are going to go off somewhere in this map, but I'm not sure exactly where that was. That might have just been on a hard wall or a soft wall, and if so, that was a huge blunder.
Yeah, and that Ash charge coming off, I'm hoping it was used for something a little bit.
Too. What on earth?
Where was that Ash charge actually at?
It wasn't used. I swore I heard it. But she still has 2 Ash charges. There's an audio cue of an Ash charge. It sounded like it went off, but it clearly wasn't. And Sophia still has all of her explosions. So it must have just been the hatch erupting, sounding like an Ash charge. Well, we were hyping up some bad utility usage, and sadly, there was no utility usage whatsoever.
Yeah, this game's audio making us look like fools once again, as we're going to be seeing Mighty Africa to try and take out that Goyo shield, I believe, being played to hold that power position in waiting room. And it's going to make things a lot more difficult for the attackers, or my apologies, the defenders, to try and hold that push coming from that red corridor, as we are going to already see Squash push into control room here, as Squash is just going to kind of push up, turn his brain off, and aim on, as he's going to be trying to get this opening pick and make things a lot easier for the attack. Just peeking back and forth right now, trying to find anything as drones are coming in to give him some intel. He's going to clear the utility, kind of walk into that Goyo fire, but the gunfight is going to come out as he is going to down Newt. Squash onto Newt for the 3rd time in a row for the opening kill, as the brain is going to come off and aim is going to come on, and we're going to be seeing the attack trying to gain some defense, push those defenders back, gain that second set of control, and push on to the bomb site.
Once again, the defenders are playing far too passively and missing sound calls just like your 3 brain cell casters. But the thing is, the east side of the map is in control of Georgia Tech. They are prepared. They're still going to have to utilize the majority of their hard breach. They still have Thermite in play with both of his X-Cairo charges, Thermite charges. But the thing with that is it's going to require them to somehow deal with these mute jammers. And that dealing is going to be just a little bit harder, as your pocket shotgun will be shut down, as Juan's going to find a kill, as well as a second with the nitro cell. But here comes the rush in from Ash. She's going to miss the majority of her shots, and this is going to mean I Am Throwing is up for another day. A myriad of death is going to fill the lobby, but all in favor of the defense, as UGA is going to win a miraculous round as the attackers do a solo push straight into their demise.
A flurry of kills coming in from the end there. I mean, the attackers had what they needed to set up, but they really just went into the blender that was the top of Yellow's stairs, and they pushed one at a time, and the defense of University of Georgia saw that, and they feasted on it. I mean, they got really passive there in the earlier rounds, but got really aggressive in the end as soon as, I believe that was Juan the Swan getting those 2 very, very quick kills, and Squash missing her shots on the Jaeger, getting quickly put into a crossfire with the Rook. There wasn't much they could do. And I also do want to say, Chief, I think you're giving us a bit too credit with 3 brain cells. I think we got about max 2 split between the 2 of us.
I usually say I have 3 brain cells, but after all, we know that I was cloned today, so maybe there's more mini Chiefs running around with equal amount of brain cells that we could pool together and turn into a supercomputer. But anyways, back into the round. Here we go. We currently find the University of Georgia. They're sitting on match point here in map number 1, which is their map pick of Theme Park. If they win this map, we'll be going over to map number 2, which is Oregon. The thing is, both of these rosters seem to have brilliant understandings of how to attack this map. They are executing flawlessly, but when it comes down to that do or die execute, and that basically that last 60 seconds, they start to skip steps, they start to rush themselves. And remember, when you have 20 seconds, 15, or even 10 seconds, that is still plenty of time to
10 seconds
execute. You
left.
really only need 3 seconds to be successful, and that's the time it takes to get into sight
5
and
seconds
actually
remaining.
start the animation of getting that bomb down. Far too many IGLs basically
Attackers are
rely
moving out
on
to
that
locate a
clock, and
bomb
as
and
soon as they
defuse it.
see, oh no, there's 20 seconds left, they go into a panic and they start to make bad calls. When you're an IGL, you can never have that luxury, and we might have a spawn peak coming through as UGA are set up for a full send.
Oh yeah, we're going to be seeing a little bit of a spawn peak coming through here. I don't know what a defender that was, but Squash going to be left to a little bit below 50 HP, and Jello Shots put to about 75, and or my apologies, put to about 60. But as we know from playing Siege, the call is going to come out that Squash is at literally 1 HP. But nevertheless, we're going to be continuing to move on, and Swan to Swan, absolutely going off this game, is going to be trying to hold this East Corridor, but going to put in a little bit of a dangerous situation, as he's going to get aggressive and run out. That's going to be 1 kill, that's going to be 2. Juan the Swan, playing big this game, is going to get 2 huge kills. 1 onto Mighty Africa, 1 on to Squash, and a flurry of kills coming in here, but it's even though he had those heroics, it's going to be equally traded out here by Jello Shots, and I believe that was Scorpion.
The unbridled aggression of the University of Georgia going to cost them 2 of their players' lives, as that opening kill worked out brilliantly for them. And that's the thing, as soon as you get that man advantage, you can't be aggressive, because if you are, you might overextend and sacrifice yourself to the attackers. That's exactly what happened. All that hard work that Juan did was for naught, as now, well, technically the 2 hard breaches of primary entries have been shut down, and a lot of soft destruction. But the thing is, you lost some of your best guns in the process as well. So it basically wipes in the end. Jello Shot's going to find his 2nd kill in this round, and we're highlighting unbridled aggression and is still punishing out the University of Georgia.
Yeah, Nuke going to be taken down by Jello Shots there. I think Squash is missing out on that kill, as he's had the opening kill on Tanute. I believe that was 3 of these rounds in a row. Nevertheless, the attackers are going to be trying to open up Armory from above to try and clear out these defenders, but none of them are going to be clearing out this power position that the Jaeger is going to be playing in. The same place that we saw Sir Bion taken out the last time that the attackers had pushed the last time that Georgia Tech had played on initiation. They're going to be opting to go for this north side take. A little bit of the utility left on the wall. Scorpion's going to be trying to open it up. I Am Throwing is just going to be shooting from above, trying to get the impact trick out, but it's not going to be successful. As that wall is opened up, Drunken Koss coming in here for a little bit of a rotate. He might be finding an engagement sooner than later, as he's just going to rotate right out of toilet and just holding the angle,
Attackers have
as the
located a
attackers
bomb.
are going to be
15
slowing down a
seconds
little bit,
left.
getting those drones out, and he's going to be finding the diffuser,
10 seconds
pushing
to go.
yellow stairs, as he's going to be finding Jello Shots. It's all going to be left on to Sir Bion now. 2v1 situation, he doesn't have the diffuser. Drunken Koss is going to know exactly where he's going to be. That's going to be UGA taking out that round in spectacular fashion, and going to be taking this first map.
Wow, it seems like Georgia Tech doesn't have an answer for that off-site pressure. They got shut down early on. They're able to get those miraculous refrags back, but once again, is the University of Georgia doing what they do best, this really exaggerated off-site pressure where there's no really ability or answer back by Georgia Tech for any flank drones whatsoever, and that's basically just allowing the University of Georgia to manipulate the attackers in any way possible. Absolute phenomenal showing by both of these teams. But again, it was the University of Georgia's map pick, and they won their map pick, which doesn't surprise me one bit.
No, it doesn't surprise me one bit at all, but something that you got to look forward to is Georgia Tech did look very strong on some of those attacks. I know that a lot of teams do struggle to attack on Theme Park because it was one of those maps that a lot of people are a little more uncomfortable with, and especially because that was University of Georgia's map pick, it does make sense that they were able to take it out a little bit more. But going into Oregon, I think a lot of teams are a bit more confident on it, and some of the things, some of the tendencies we saw that they were droning out a lot. They weren't pushing a lot of their attacks. And on defense, they were playing the stage as well. I would argue that Georgia Tech was playing that map very well, but in the end, University of Georgia was winning a lot of their gunfights. They're making those late round rotates. I mean, a good example of that was that last round by Drunken Koss. He came right in there, rotated around, even though they had opened up the wall on Yellow Stairs. he rotated around to bathroom. That wasn't called out. That wasn't even being watched. And that big triple kill in the end there, which should have been called out and should have been traded out, wasn't. And I think that watching a lot of those late round rotates on Georgia Tech side would really do them a lot better coming into the next map.
I absolutely agree, Pun. But with that, we're going to dive over to a quick 5 to 10 minute break to allow our players to get some rest before we dive into map number 2, which is Oregon.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, to the clean, old-fashioned hatred showdown between Georgia Tech and University of Georgia. Even though it's been nothing but wholesomeness between these two teams, as we saw University of Georgia take a commanding lead 7-3 on our first map. We are going to be going to map number 2 onto Oregon. This is going to be Georgia Tech's pick, and hopefully we're going to be seeing a little bit more action today here, Chief.
Now, Oregon is this crazy map where you almost parallel theme park at their level of aggression and unique strategies, particularly that basement site where we've seen a plethora of deployable shields basically thrown throughout the bomb site, whether or not it's a J bunker or blue tarps or boiler room or pillars. There's so many avenues and so many different places you can put deployable shields, and it's going to really force the attackers to play into utility consumption simulator, utilizing those frag grenades, those ash breaching launchers, and Zofia launchers. And well, if you don't burn those ADSs, well, my pancakes, you're going to be suffering throughout your attacking phase.
Yeah, and one of the big things we need to see a lot of teams do, especially when taking that kid's the kid's objective on second floor, is getting that control of attic early on and clearing out a Wamai in there, or even doing a Wamai ban. I'm really actually expecting coming into this map. I'm actually expecting a Wamai ban. I like the Wamai ban on this map because Oregon is one of the biggest maps in the utility my apologies, the utility dump mini game that we see being played on throughout these maps. So nevertheless, we're actually going to be going into this round, starting with the ban phase now.
Here we go. It's going to be map number 2. It's going to be here on Oregon. It's going to be the University of Georgia versus Georgia Tech. And as you were highlighting, I'm expecting a Wamai ban, but first we have to go through the 2 attacker bans. Most likely going to be Thatcher, the Bane of Rainbow Six Siege, and even though he's been nerfed recently, he can still be very oppressive because it really doesn't matter at the end of the day if your gadgetry is turned off or is completely destroyed. It is going to be the newest hard breach in Rainbow Six Siege. His name is Ash and Ace. Wow, today is a rough day. Our 3 brain cells are just basically spinning around in the void today. But it's Ace, now removed, maybe coupled with that Thatcher.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Thatcher or even a Maverick ban. A lot of teams like to pair those two together, but I'm going to be wrong. Georgia Tech is going to ban that Thatcher in the likes of their engineering minds, taking out that English engineer off the board. Software engineering not being real engineering, Mighty Africa. I do agree with you right there. As an engineering grad myself, we're going to be starting off with that first defender ban. I am really hoping to see the Wamai. We do also see a lot of teams opt to take off a Clash, but not what we're going to see right now, as Mira is going to be this first defender being taken off. I mean, Mira, very powerful operator, can hold off a large section of the map, very similar to a deployable shield. And we're going to be seeing the second one, and Malusi is going to be banned, so the Wamai is still going to be left available, and we are going to be seeing the utility dump minigame being played in full swing.
Now, Malusi being removed is going to shut down that minigame just a little bit, and she can be actually quite oppressive on this map, especially downstairs in basement. And you can throw those Malusis outside not only by those 3 barrels, but also on that soft wall or that hard wall, and that'll basically give you free information when the attackers actually go into barrels. And it's going to be this loud disco party with the wub-wubs, and you can wide swing off the deployable shield. And because players are slowed so much, it's a free kill. Now, this strategy was utilized when this map first rolled out with an Ella back in the day. But the thing with Ella, it doesn't really stop your movement as much as a Malusi wub-wubs, so you can be far more aggressive with that strategy. Now, Ella is being shown, and we are on basement, so there's a probability of seeing that strategy. However, it's kind of fallen out of favor.
Fallen out of favor indeed. I do like to see that Malusi ban coming in, and as we are seeing 2 college teams go at it, I think they're going to be taking off that wub-wub, not to give them any reminders of, some of the Friday nights that they might have had, being in a club that might be a little bit too loud. But nevertheless, we are going to be going to the basement bomb site, and a lot of utility coming out here. I'm really liking seeing this Goyo come out and seeing 3 deployable shields being brought as secondaries with the Wamai, the Ella, and the Smoke. The Ella pick, a very curious one. I'm wondering if she's running the SMG or the shotgun. That shotgun, if played well, can make a lot of those close range engagements very challenging. And it looks like she is going to be going to play over in Freezer using some of that utility. Oh, my apologies. Going to be placing that over there into the pillar. She's going to be using a lot of that utility to act as almost a indicator where the attacker is going to be pushing from, and especially on a bomb site in the basement, like the bomb site in the basement here on Oregon. There are multiple avenues where teams can attack from, and if you place those Ellas down, it gives you that intel of where the attackers are going without having to sacrifice somebody playing on a camera, and it allows you to make those rotates and to adapt yourself based on the attack likewise.
Mate, I see 5 deployable shields up and alive. It's going to be the Mendez special in this lobby, and that is a ton of hard utility the attacker is going to have to deal with. The problem is they have 2 sets of flashbangs for only 6. You couple that with the ADSs, well, that will be shut down, but now you're going to have to answer back those with my pancakes. Fortunately for them, they have stun grenades, but it's going to be the smoke grenades also relegated to that task, and you'll still have 1 more pancake roaming throughout the map. Casanova's going to get aggressive. Does he know there's attackers on the other side? He's going to give a quick peek. He's going to spot the heads of GT, and that's going to allow him to rotate back over to J Bunker. His life was almost forfeit for free, but the only thing that's going to be shut down are the attackers' drones.
Yeah, and as we say that, Squash is going to come in and take out Casanova. That J Bunker position be given up very quickly. It's going to give a lot for the attackers, as we're going to be seeing that smoke come out at just poor timing, as Drunken Cash is going to take out Squash, but Squash getting the trade there on Drunken Cash. Going to be 2 players taking each other out. Mighty Africa swings in, gets Swan, and the defenders getting put in a tough situation, but making the most out of it as the Manly Banana himself and Throwing are going to be able to clean up 2 more kills, and it's all going to be left onto a 2v2 now with the defenders in pretty good footing.
Well, at least for the time being, 60 seconds left. Either one of these teams could be successful. But has the attackers done their due diligence? Have they answered back these deployable shields? And as of now, you can see them throughout this basement, which means it's gonna be a no. But who needs to deal with deployable shields when you can click heads? The C-70 is gonna find one. He's gonna be looking for the second, but unable to land those shots. And now it's just gonna be a 1v1 with an M590 and M762. The M590 can be a pain machine, and you never want to be on the receiving end as the Tango is going to continue to work its way back and forth. Mighty's going to attempt the bomb plant, trying to draw out that M590, but it's not going to be for the time being. Back and forth, the Tango all the way around. Everybody's trying to dance, but who's going to be the loser in this exchange? Well, it's going to go for the wide swing. It's going to be Mighty winning that engagement as Banana's unable to even pull the trigger of his shotgun. A brilliant showing by both of these players, but the attackers are going to get the better.
And blessing the reins indeed as Mighty Africa comes in there, taking out the Manly Banana. 2 great usernames coming into this round. Again, as the beginning of the match comes out, got to give a big shout out there. But that was a dance coming through and through. We are going to be going back to a my apologies, a swift flurry of kills as that careless swing coming in there from the Jaeger really did almost doom the smoke playing there on site with Manly Banana, and he wasn't able to make a whole lot happen out of it. But it looks like we are gonna be going back to that laundry supply bomb site, and we are gonna be making a little bit of a switch with Juan switching over to the smoke and Manly Banana switching over to that Wamai.
And I love seeing Wamai in play. He can be quite an impressive operator. Couple that with his German mate of Jaeger, and that is a duo for success when you're a defender. Waste as much utility as possible. Now, the utility consumption simulator was in effect in round number 1, but the problem was that simulation really didn't work out well for the defenders because they overextended their welcome, they got far too aggressive on their deployable shields, and they basically just dry peeked straight into the barrels and iron sights of the attackers. They shut down all advantages they had. They didn't utilize the deployable shields, which is why the attackers were able to just walk behind them because there's, well, just corpses behind the deployable shield. Remember, just because you bring out a 5 shield setup, you have to understand why you're bringing out 5 shields and how to use them in the best capacity.
You know, if it is any team to break down a simulation, I would give it to the players over at Georgia Tech. A lot of those guys coming in as engineers, they would be able to break down some of those simulations very quickly. But you are very right. They do need to understand why they are playing the deployable shields. They understand the power positions they are playing with them, and they need to get aggressive on those peaks. As such, as we are talking about that, that utility dump meta, we see those 3 very quick flashbangs come in to clear out those Wamais and one of the ADSs, as they're going to be trying to clear out Bunker and clear out this player playing right in Boiler. As drones are coming in, a flurry of gunfire. Squash is going to do what he does best as the Ash and try and push up, waiting for them to get waiting for the defenders to get maybe a little bit aggressive, taking out a Wamai disc, not needing any utility for that. And we are going to be seeing Bunker being taken into full swing as Wanda Swan switching over to that smoke, making the most out of it, getting that first kill onto the Maverick, and that is a huge kill coming in the round.
But will they be able to mount even more kills? The arrested White Swing comes out for an SMG-11. Shots exchanged, but Yellow Shots is going to survive that engagement, and he's going to be alive for the time being, but not for long, as Drunk is going to find a kill on the Squash. He's going to be looking for what's remaining of that Yellow Shots player, but they're not fighting each other as of yet. Drunk is going to hold this tight position. Yellow's going to try to leave this door frame, but the pre-fire is going to give himself away just a little bit. He's going to think better about his life and retreat to a new position. The rush strategy not working out well for the attackers as they don't have an answer back for all these deployable shields. It's going to be a complete and utter change for the IGLs. They're going to be rotating over to launch range.
And a very mistimed impact coming in there as he's going to down Yellow Shots himself. Almost a little bit of a team kill coming in here as they're going to be trying to push down the main stairs, but they're just going to be fed like fish in a barrel. Frag grenade coming out. It looks like Wanda Swan's going to be down. A little bit of damage being taken to Yellow Shots by his own grenade as he kills Wanda Swan, but nevertheless, Drunken Cost takes out White Shotgun. All going to be left on Jello Shots. He's going to try and get a few shots in there, but Casanova throwing the impact grenade, cleaning up that round, leaving us at 1-1.
Gotta catch them all, and this time it's going to be a Jello shot at your Pokeball, and it's going to work out brilliantly for the defense. It took them 2 rounds to be successful, but eventually they accomplished their goal, and now they're going back upstairs for the first time without B dorms. Now, as you were highlighting in the pregame, it is imperative to hold this bomb site utilizing what we've been talking about the entire map number 2, which is Utility Consumption Simulator. If you can waste as many projectiles as possible, that's going to allow you to play behind those deployable shields and waste time. Now, my friend, I see a cap can being shown, but sadly, 6 picked away to an Ella.
Man, I really would have loved to see that cap can come out, or seen the Ella come out and being 6-pick onto a cap can. We aren't going to be seeing an IQ being brought, so maybe he could have caught some of those attackers playing a little bit careless, running through doorways, and if they're able to delay them as much as they had that last round, Capcan really can be a little bit detrimental in the late game if you aren't careful and you place those Capcan traps in the right places. I mean, he is a very niche operator in professional play or in competitive play, mind you, but he does have his uses, and if you are able to delay attacks and get those early picks and get that early aggression the way that they had, I can actually see Capcan finding some decent use. But this Ella is going to be playing with that shoddy, and Drunken Cost has been playing very well so far in this match. Potentially going to be using that shotgun to hold down Master Bedroom. The old, I believe that's the old varsity gaming strategy from the old Oregon, potentially being brought into new use. I'd like to see where that comes from.
Attackers are moving out to locate a
I'm
bomb.
looking for impact holes over here on the South Games wall, and I don't see anyone set up. And this is a huge blunder if they don't. There's no impact grenades whatsoever by the defense. They're going to be solo relying on these bandit charges. And while bandit batteries can be shut down for free, which is why they're really not a good strategy to begin with. That's why we're highlighting on map number 1. And here again on map number 2, especially upstairs, it is imperative that you attempt these impact tricks because it will punish the majority of the attacker's hard range utility, particularly those thermite charges as well as a Selmas, which aren't in place since it was the default ban.
Not a smart peek coming here from Squash. He's going to rotate over, but he's going to be dancing around a Jaeger that is playing right in that corridor. As Squash pushes right in, kills one, downs the other. That's going to be your 2 roamers taken out very quickly. A C4 off the board and a very powerful gun taken off from the Jaeger. Now the attackers are going to have almost free control of first floor. They're going to do exactly as you had said. They're going to be able to clear out that utility being played on the wall and can very easily open up master bedroom as long as they can clear out Ella playing in trophy, which is a very powerful position. I'm really liking that shield setup with the close range potential, but the frag grenade being sniped out by the Jaeger in very quick fashion, but allowing for that thermite to rush right in.
90 seconds left in this round, and death is still being distributed through both of these teams, but mostly in favor of the attackers. Actually, it's going to be all in favor of the attackers now as Jealous Shots can get a headshot with his pocket secondary. The defenders aren't looking too good here in round number 3. They're going to have to coordinate and execute flawlessly if they want to be successful. A trade's going to happen through his lobby. Wamai is going to go for the wide swing, but he's going to look the wrong direction and be shut down for free. It looks like there's going to be a rehost required. We have to see if admin approves that. But honestly, so far, GT looks phenomenal on attack.
Yeah, I'm really liking how GT is on attack. And I think one of the big things that came in, and actually this replay is showing just that, both of their roamers being taken out in quick succession by Squash. It seems like there was maybe a little bit of a miscommunication there with them trying to push the player trying to get into Classroom to try and get that utility from below. And with that drone coming in, they had hyper focused on the drone. And even though you do want to get those drones, if you hear a player playing right around the corner, you don't want to lose your life to a drone. That is not a trade that is worth it. That intel is not as important as your life. But both of those players were then taken out, and very, very well done there by GT.
That it was. But again, the defenders were just far too aggressive, especially in Zulu. You should never push that. You know exactly what's going on, right? Jaeger was just in an engagement, which means, well, if you dry peek it, you're going to be peeking into an attacker. Now, if both those defenders rotated back, maybe you put one in security, the other one in freezer doorway. Now you have a 90-degree crossfire. Actually going to pop out of Zulu straight into the waiting arms of their double barrels. And then, well, she might kill one of you, but she's really unlikely to win the second engagement. Now, Squash has been hitting some phenomenal shots, so if anyone in this lobby is going to be able to do that, it would be him. But you can't line up one behind each other. That's just unacceptable.
Yeah, that spacing up does come up, but I do like Squash. He's definitely that. I know you and I talk about it quite a bit. He's one of those entry frags that just goes in. He gets his intel, he's fed his intel, and gets those kills. I mean, he does exactly what you need to do as an entry. And one of the big things we saw, especially over on Theme Park, he was getting those opening kills very consistently. And even though they weren't making those late round adjustments, he did open up a lot for his team in the early game. But this time around, him getting aggressive, getting those early picks, it is boding them a little bit better. And especially on their map pick, it seems like their attacks have been a little bit more coordinated. They're a little bit more coordinated in those late rounds. Even though lag has affected a little bit of the gameplay, rehost should kind of clear some of that up.
And sometimes things just don't go your direction, right? Rehosts happen. Servers say, hey, you want to play this series today? You want to play CR6 today? No, you're not doing that. So that's, Ubisoft's way of saying, both these two teams are phenomenal. We want to make this series as long as possible. And actually, that means map number 3 is probably going to be happening, honestly.
Map number 3 is going to be happening. And also, it looks like Ubisoft wants us to have our beautiful faces on here for a little bit of the rehost. But nevertheless, yeah, that's something you gotta say. We are going to be going to a quick rehost. We will be coming back momentarily as we get the lobby set up, and we'll be back on to what has been a phenomenal game so far.
Rising with each beat of the music is bringing. We're flames in the fire that keeps burning. We're inviting the night in. Welcome, my heart so
in the sky, gazing far.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to CR6, the best of 32, the premier bracket. This is game number 2 of this series. It's the University of Georgia versus Georgia Tech. And here in map number 2, we currently find Georgia Tech in a small lead of a 2-1 advantage.
A small lead of a 2-1 advantage, I think, is exemplified with the fact that 2 attacking rounds is really what you want on Oregon. We do see Oregon play a little bit more defender-sided, and getting at least 2 wins is usually teams' goals moving into the half, and them meeting that now in round number 4, very, very wonderfully done. As we are going to be seeing the likes of UGA go into that first floor site of kitchen dining, and bringing a little bit more into that utility consumption mini game, and bringing in Maestro to maybe gain a little bit more intel and try and switch up the way they are defending these, as Georgia Tech has been looking on fire so far in their attacks.
Now, I've said this 100 times, I'll probably say 100 more. The sister bomb site of Meeting Room is superior in just about every regard. Now, a lot of teams are electing to hold showers, and that is the optimal strategy with this bomb site. You have to waste time, particularly hard breach utility with impact grenades once again. And if you're able to do those criteria, you'll be successful on this map. And another part of this criteria is you have to hold dorms vertically, opening up that top hatch, as well as basically turning the floor into Swiss cheese, making as many lines of sight over to the west as possible. The problem is, a lot of teams don't do that, and they don't do a good job at that, which basically allows the attackers to manipulate this bomb site in their way. Now, its sister bomb site of Meeting Room is superior because, well, the attackers don't have that luxury on their side, and you can really rely on deployable shields and utility consumption simulator to hold North stage for as long as possible.
I personally like Meeting because Meeting is a little bit, I personally think Meeting's a little bit more, creative with ways that you can hold it. You can either opt to go for a delayed push, trying to stop the attackers from pushing over on that west side, or you can make an attempt to hold the big tower and kind of split up your rumors like such, and it allows for a lot of room for your rumors to make some impact on the round. But we're going to be seeing Casanova as I am talking, taking words right out of my mouth. D4 from below on Thermite, and I don't think his charge was able to go off. So that's not only going to be utility, that's going to be your Thermite, and that's going to be a crucial hard breach.
Now, fortunately for the side of Georgia Tech, they still have a Maverick at their disposal, so they can open up these walls with that Maverick blow charge, and it won't be a full and utter punishment, but I think you mentioned that Nitro Cell did grab that Thermite charge. That is an old strategy that we saw a lot of teams utilize, and the problem with that strategy, well, is exactly that. There's a lot of avenues for Nitro Cells to impact you when they're gripped and ripped, and they just overlook this one avenue. Now, the defenders are still in control of the bathroom. No utility answer whatsoever by the attackers. They need to address this power position ASAP.
They do, and it looks like Manly Banana with his Alda is going to be doing just that, as he is going to be rocking that red dot sight, which is the meta, is going to be the meta sight for this gun, despite what anybody else wants to say. But nevertheless, that meta sight is not going to be able to make much happen out of it. He's going to be taken out very quickly. Casanova coming in with a quick kill onto Mighty Africa. These teams going back and forth, Squash trying to equalize things up as the diffuser is going to be going down. Player's going to rotate down white stairs. Casanova winning that engagement against Squash, but the diffuser is going to go down. But Juan the Swan able to take out Jello shots. It's all going to be left onto the diffuser of the Maverick to try and win a 1v3. He is in a post plane, so the defenders do have to come to him, but he's going to have a lot of avenues that he's going to have to cover this from. Able to down one from Casanova, but I Am Throwing is able to take him out, as Juan de Swan is going to get that diffuser down in a quick flurry of a round. UGA coming out of this rehost strong, taking their second round, making the scoreline tied at 2-2.
It was almost like both of these rosters made the exact same mistakes in the same rounds. They were overextending, they're getting far too aggressive. And that's the thing, once the attackers burn their primary resources, which is their bodies, it's gonna be almost impossible for them to do anything. Because, well, you're stuck in that 1v3. They were skipping steps, they weren't identifying their targets, and sure, they were able to rush on through, get some kills, But imagine if they played it a little bit more passively. As soon as they had site control, they're like, all right, we don't need any more. We are now the new defenders, and the defenders have to push out their hidey holes and come to us. Sadly, the attackers never actually understood that, and they were like, I want more kills. They rushed out of, tried to take the next bomb site, and sadly, they walked straight into the barrels of the
Attackers need to
defenders.
locate
A
and
little bit of
defuse
an
the
oversight,
bombs
but
if they can.
it's, well, the tertiary bomb site, so you're going to be going back to another bomb site that you've been successful on executing.
Yeah, and I think that one of the big keys to that round being lost by the attackers was Squash getting killed by that player coming down White Stairs. Not being able to protect that bathroom corridor really allowed for the that bathroom 90 corridor. Not quite sure what the exact call is there, but that's such a power position because you can prevent a lot of rotations from coming in, and you can deny rotations between the bomb sites, especially as the attack. So if you
5
want to get
seconds
that
left
plant
before
down closer to small tower,
Attackers are moving
very,
out to
very
locate a bomb.
easy to be done. We are going to be
Defender
seeing
is
the
approaching
Valkyrie
the
jump
kill zone.
outside, get maybe a little bit of a cheeky camera out there. Not trying to get any of those no intel peaks coming out, but nevertheless, they are going to be trying to defend this kid Storm's bomb site.
Trying to emulate the Chief style of play, which is a full sin. Squash is going to find himself in a very early engagement. He's going to be the loser in that exchange, though, now sitting at below 50 HP. And the attackers, well, they're not looking as strong as they once did. It's an FO12 that's dishing out that punishment. We've seen this strategy once before, and it was the frag grenades behind the deployable shield, which almost caught Ella off and sacrificed herself early on. Juan's going to go for the run out. It's going to be the white window. He's going to be successful. That is your only hard breacher, at least your primary hard breacher. If your thermite now shut down, and that means you're going to have to now Maverick trick 2 different walls. If you want to be successful in this round, you're going to have to open up North Attic as well as South Games.
Yeah, and with already a minute burnt into the round, it's not going to be as possible to get both of those hard breaches down unless a miracle comes out. The attack is going to be left to try and make a decision of where they want to push and adjust those avenues. Having that secondary hard breach taken out, or your primary hard breach, makes it a lot harder, as Drunken Koss is just going to be sitting in this corner. A red dot site to maybe give out the position a little bit, but Sledge is going to have to be none the wiser. Squash is going to be playing from below. He's going to see the player, and Squash getting that headshot to Manly Banana. The refrag not being able to come in there from the Jaeger, and Squash getting that double kill again on the first floor, opening up more for the attack. What was looking a little bit more challenging is becoming a little bit more possible now from the likes of Georgia Tech, as we're going to be seeing Drunken Cass move back. Mighty Africa getting Casanova, and what was a very good position from the defense is now going to be left a little bit more
Attackers recovered the
challenging.
bomb diffuser.
Well, somehow Squash is able to find some very important kills, unable to punish him whatsoever. A lot of people put damage into him, but he's just better in those exchanges, winning his gunfights, and he's going to be looking for more. The MPX is going to spot the head of one, but they're just going to be sacrificing themselves, the M762, as nice shots rain through all chat. Complementing each other is the perfect way to play Rainbow Six Siege, and those shots were absolutely brilliant, and it looks like both of these teams understand how to attack on their own map picks.
Absolutely, and I mean, with that thermite being taken out very quickly in the beginning, it did kind of put a little bit more pressure on the attack, because now they have to open up a few more avenues of how they want to take it. Do they want to try and rotate that Ozzy upstairs, or my apologies, that Maverick going upstairs to try and open up that master bedroom wall into games, or do they want to rotate him off to big tower? Squash was able to do the exact same thing he did, and punish the defenders on that overextension downstairs and not getting those refrags in a timely manner. He was able to click those 2 heads, and honestly, those 2 impactful kills from Squash, same way they had with attacking dorms last time, opened up so many more avenues for the attack to try and gain some control, made that pick of
Attackers
the
need to
primary hard
locate
breach
and
being
defuse
taken
as
out
many
early on,
bombs as they can.
making the impact of that pick a lot less, and really allowing for his team to win that round.
Sadly, my friend, I only see 4 deployable shields in this lobby. We've seen 5 beforehand. And the thing was, all 5 really didn't get any uses whatsoever. The defense were playing far too aggressive deployable shields, which is almost a baffling statement because in every engagement that you have with the deployable shield, you, as the defender, should win it 99.99% of the time. But when you're overextending and you're just kind of making bad peaks, sacrificing
seconds
yourself
left.
to the barrels of the attackers, that's when you're like, maybe I should back off on these deployable shields
5 seconds
and really rely on utility consumption simulator, which is hopefully what the University of Georgia is going to
objective is to
attempt
locate a
here.
bomb and
They're also
defuse
going to have to create a macro strategy that forces the attackers to slow down, and particularly Squash, who's been just, well, a rocket ship in this lobby.
Yeah, and this is going to be one of those rounds that it's going to really make it or break it for University of Georgia. It's going to create a sense of urgency on their on their attacks. If they're not able to get they're not able to make something happen out of this attack, Squishy or Squash is going to try and push down. Drunken Cost throwing up the C4, not able to make anything happen out of it initially, but is able to clean up that frag as the attackers tried to push down those big tower stairs, but are delayed, and they're going to be pushed back very quickly.
Well, the full send strategy, both of these teams have attempted rushes, and both teams have now at least temporarily failed with them. And the attackers are all on this north stairs trying to push their way down a fatal funnel, but the only thing they're meeting is bullets currently. They're going to have to make a rotation or a Hail Mary push. Either one of those strategies really won't work out well. So honestly, they need to regroup and change how they want to execute. You can see that happening currently. They realize north stairs will no longer be a factor, and it won't be a J bunker extension either. This actually might be a laundry stairs full send, as 4 of them are stacked up on top of each other. Drones are going to start to go out and confirm the location of the defenders. But look at this. Casanova's completely off site. He's upstairs in closet. He has the potential of rotating and flanking behind the attackers if they aren't doing their due diligence.
Yeah, University of Georgia set and poised in a very good position right now. Not to say that Georgia Tech does not. They do have a lot of drones left on the board. They might be able to find some of these out. They do have their flank drones set up so that that lobby stairs rotate might not be as viable as Casanova here might like, but he's just going to be lurking upstairs. He's just going to be waiting and seeing where he can push. So we're going to be seeing a split push coming in, one from Laundry and one from main stairs, as Jello Shots is going to take out I Am Throwing, and we're going to be seeing a rain of kills coming in. Jello Shots getting the second kill onto Manly Banana. It's going to be giving the attackers that advantage, as we're going to be seeing Mighty Africa roam in, but Casanova getting the flank in. Drunken Cost and Casanova cleaning up that kill feed in the end there as the attack started to make some efforts. Drunken Cost, Casanova said no, flank came in, and that is going to leave us tied in the half as we are going to be switching to UGA on the attack.
Blue's gonna swarm the kill feed there, and it looked like the attackers were in phenomenal position to execute, but they didn't watch their backs, and unfortunately it's gonna cost them their lives. But here we are at the half. What strategy will Georgia Tech now bring out? Will they also try to utilize utility consumption simulator with a Mayan Jaeger on the board? It most definitely will. Now, Valkyrie has been a controversial operator as of late, especially since she's now being a pseudo echo, where she's providing a lot of information as well as plant. Now, a lot of these bomb sites, particularly this second floor bomb site of dorms, is all soft floor. So you can have Valkyries roaming throughout the map, or any operator with a nitrocell for that matter, just relying on Valkyrie cams to Z ping or yellow ping where that position of that player is putting the bomb down, and then you just send that nitrocell sky high. It's going to find its target and shut the planner down.
Yeah, and something in a play style that really does punish is teams that really I'd like to say half send the roam clear. You really don't want to be trying to get that plant down unless you do know at least, or have a decent understanding where the attackers will be pushing from. Or my apologies, where the defenders are going to be playing. The attackers are going to have to clear that out, because if you understand that it is going to be a site that does have a lot of vertical play, and especially a bomb site like dorms,
attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
You're going to need to clear out the defenders from playing from below, because it is a power position, and Valkyrie playing as that pseudo echo, especially with having 2 C4s on the board, one coming from the likes of Jello Shots, it is really going to force that first floor room clear. Squash is just going to be sitting right by the head of Casanova right here, as we aren't going to be seeing much come in, but a gunfight, just being teased for right now.
Crosshairs were lined up on each other for a split second, unaware that if either one of those members pulled the trigger, they would have got a free kill. But it's going to be their drones moving throughout this map, trying to actually give them a free kill, trying to catch a defender off guard. You can see vertical destruction going in. I believe it was Ash now targeted with that, but no, it was actually, I'm not sure whose gadgetry that was, but some type of explosions have been going off towards that South Games wall, trying to open up this wall so Thermite can rotate on over, utilize his hard breach. On the other side of the map, though, North Attic will also be opened up by the attackers, and the 180-degree crossfires have now established.
Did his breaching charge go off there?
Sounded like it.
I don't know if it had, but nevertheless, Drunken Cost going to be taking out jello shots. The attackers going to be making a lot of progress on the site. They're gonna have attic control, and they're gonna have master bedroom open. So the split attack is gonna be done very well. As Wise Shotgun is gonna have to be very careful this gunfights. He's gonna be Jackal tracked. That's something that is not fun to as you're going to be pulling off two situations, but Cyberian and Casanova, quick 2 kills coming in. It's going to be left on a 2v4. This attic hold being an anchor right now. 2 ADSs right over there. It's the frag grenade not able to make anything out of it, and they're just really going to be holding him down. But the frag grenade coming in, but nevertheless, Juan is going to be taken out there. The defenders holding on by a thread. Mighty Africa trying to do just that. He's going to be trying to delay this push for as much as possible. 50 seconds left on the round. The attackers trying to collect themselves to get this push down.
You need more than a thread to make a scarf, and it's going to be the orange team of Georgia Tech trying to accomplish that goal, relying on the remaining members of their team to do so. The wide swing is going to come out for Wamai. That's going to be a perfect kill on what looked like a surefire round for the attackers. They are now in the huge disadvantage. Now Casanova, he is just a little bit late, sitting at that 55 HP. He's going to have to punish 2 more defenders, and he's going to have to leave his hiding hole now. He's got to deal actively with the deployable shield, looking straight at Smoke's head. It's going to be Mighty, though, with the Jack-in-a-Box strategy popping up and claiming his kill.
A mighty continent indeed. He hitting probably one of the nastiest shots I've ever seen with the SMG-11 and really holding off that position. But I really got to give it up to the defender playing over an attic right there. Wamai doing his due diligence, preventing that push from coming in, allowing Mighty Africa to push back all the way over towards Big Window and stop that push coming in from Trophy Master Bedroom. And what should have been the attackers having the control they had wanted, that two-man anchor on site, giving just as much as they needed.
Well, it looks like both these teams have a good understanding of this map and a good understanding of how to set up macro strategies.
Defenders,
The
protect your
problem
bombs from
is
being defused
their
by
strategies
attackers.
are starting to fail. They're starting to crumble and falter. And what happens when, your strategy goes, SOL? Well, you have to start to rely on your mechanical skill. And in map number 1, it was the University of Georgia that did exactly that. Their strategies were failing. They would do these big grandiose flanks and these roam flares, and they would shut down Georgia Tech. Here in map number 2, it's the exact opposite of that. Or we see Georgia Tech. Well, their strategies are failing. So then they elect to do this big grandiose roam and just win their engagements. And honestly, if this trend continues to happen, it is going to be guaranteed map number 3. And then in map number 3, it'll be whatever team makes the least amount of mistakes is going to be the team that wins.
Yeah, and mistakes is something that does come in here, but Georgia Tech, I gotta give them a ton of credit for that defense right there. I mean, back against the wall, we saw the smoke of Mighty Africa trying to do his best right there, holding off the attack. And that is one of those times that really takes a good player from a great player, is your poise in a situation where you're holding off 3 separate angles. And even though he was smoked, he can deny it as much as he can. But having the Wamai holding that attic allows for him to hold it a little bit more comfortable. But nevertheless, we are going to be moving on to this basement defense, as the attackers are just going to be rushing into J Bunker right here. Mighty Africa holding his ground right there with that shotgun. But the shield is still up, and the attackers making as much progression as they can. they're going to force Casanova to move up,
bomb
but
has
he's just
been
going to
located.
rotate right back through. And Jay Bunker holding off as much time as possible, but 2 kills coming in the end there. The defenders now being left at that man disadvantage.
Squash is going to try to work his way up, get aggressive, but the lineup's going to work out perfectly for the attackers. Now has a quad kill of the round for Juan. He has pistol in hand. He's going to be hunting for the last remaining member. Then as Squash is on a big rotate, it's a big flank. We've been highlighting this throughout this series. Now, if there aren't any flank drones, he could dish out punishment, but the problem is the bomb is now on the deck. It is a 1v5 post plant with a guaranteed 40 seconds in hand. Free fires from Squash are gonna give away his location. He's known to be shut down. The wide swing comes on through. That is gonna be Juan the Swan acing up and flawlessing the round.
Juan the Swan doing just that. Like the aggressive bird a Swan is, runs right into sight. He sees 2 defenders right here, one of that smoke and one of that Cade, getting the quad kill with those 2 kills. And I guarantee you he called out right there that I'm getting that ace right now. And as soon as he heard he was rotating down Big Tower stairs, he wasn't missing those shots. With the diffuser down, there wasn't a whole ton they could do. A lot of early round aggression coming in there from UGA, and they didn't take their foot off the gas pedal for 1 second that round. As soon as they had opened up the wall into bunker, they immediately cleared out as much utility as they could, gain that control that they could, force the defenders back into the site with, I believe it was only a minute off the board, and Juan the Swan going absolutely mental, cleaning up with that ace there. Just an absolutely insane round.
Well, once again, we're turning back over to the basement, and both of these rosters are really struggling with utility consumption simulator. For whatever reason, their ADSs with my pancakes just aren't working, or maybe the latter option is the attackers are so good at pushing them away, utilizing their flashbangs and frag grenades, that they have no option of playing those positions. Either way, though, the attackers or the defenders need to address it. They need to create a different strategy. The J Bunker extension worked out decently well. It wasted a little bit of time, but it also gave the attackers an angle to well set up a crossfire, 90-degree crossfire looking over into the freezer because they were unable to reinforce that wall. That is really the opportunity cost of this strategy. If it fails, you really benefit the attackers. And you can see ADSs thrown throughout the basement, and hopefully they're able to find more impact.
Man, talking about opportunity costs right now, you really are getting into the theme of this Georgia Tech team right here.
I mean, I'm a finance major after all. I have to talk about opportunity costs. I had a whole degree in it after all.
Absolutely. I've got an engineering major, so I guess that means that I know how to do Excel spreadsheets. But nevertheless, we are going to be seeing this round moving forward, and the J Bunker extension going to be rotated back through. But Juan the Swan continuing his reign of terror, 6 straight kills, as he is going to stop that crucial wall from coming up. That 90-degree crossfire coming right in there. Utility consumption coming through. They need to clear off those players on pillar, but poised up to do the same. Juan the Swan getting a kill before his reign of terror is shut down. Quickly traded out there by Jealous Shots, but I am throwing, coming to the kill onto Squesh. Manly Banana coming in there, kills flying through the feed. Drunken Cost cleaning up that round. A second quick round coming in here, and UGA in quick fashion, foot on the gas pedal, winning 2 straight rounds.
Kills rolled through so quickly, it was almost impossible to understand what was happening. But it was a slithering snake style strategy where the attackers basically turned into boa constrictors and forced the defense into very awkward positions where they had no choice but other than to get too aggressive, try to win these engagements. But that's exactly what the attackers wanted. They wanted the defenders to get aggressive. They wanted a wide swing off these deployable shields because there are multiple attackers playing those angles and, well, just looking straight down their gun sights. And here in round number 10, the only thing that will be guaranteed is the fact that all 12 rounds will most likely be utilized.
I think we're going to be seeing all 12 rounds coming in here. Both these teams playing super well, but I'm loving this aggression from UGA. It's giving me a lot of APAC vibes right now. Actually, it's giving me a lot of LATAM vibes. And with Juan the Swan choosing to get aggressive there onto bunker with smoke rotating back to try and reinforce off that crucial wall, getting that kill, it won the round for his team right there. And Georgia Tech has done very well with trying to clean up and trying to get aggressive, but as you had said, he played right into what UGA wanted. UGA wanted them to get aggressive, wanted them to peak, and they had all the answers right there.
And sometimes your strat book and your playbook works out exactly like that. Everything just follows right there. Everything you do perfectly on the time markers. That's exactly how UGA is going to take that. The problem with it is they've struggled here on the primary bomb site, which is dorms. They tried to set up the multi-angle crossfire utilizing North Attic as well as South Attic, but they didn't have an answer back for the impact tricking. There's shotgun holes over here in games, which actually isn't being set up right now. It is just a mute jammer, a solo mute jammer set up on this wall, and it's going to be blown up and thrown away by the attackers.
Yeah, and a little bit of health coming out there from Wise Shotgun. As he was trying to set up those shotgun holes to prevent that exact thing from happening, but a little bit of a late setup allowed for the attackers to get that utility off. But we are going to be seeing some nice little cheeky Val cams as they are going to be trying to hold that pivotal position in Trophy. But having that utility taken from below, if that Valkyrie's taken off, this is a round that could very easily go in the favor of the attack. But I would never count out Mighty Africa playing on that smoke, as we had seen them have that position before and it go right back around.
Well, so far, you can't cut out any one of these 10 players. Jello Shots is going to go fishing, but the only thing he's going to find is lead in his cranium, as he's now just at 30 HP. And there's going to be the final kill, but it won't be on Jello Shots this time. It's going to be on Squash. One of your primary fraggers has been so instrumental. The Nitro Cell is going to go sky high. It's going to do enough damage, but not enough to actually kill anybody on the receiving end. Jello Shot's going to work his way up main stairs, but he's going to walk straight into highway window and right into the waiting arms of the Buck. Now Wise is going to find himself his own free kill, and things aren't looking good at all for the defenders. What it's going to be a clap back for both of these rosters, as it's now closer to man advantage. Now Jello Shots is still on his back, so it's going to be an effective 3v2 moving into the last third.
Mighty Africa and Sir Bane are very comfortable in this position. We saw them in a 2v4 last time, and holding that attic position gave them the advantage. You can never count these two out. Even though they do have the man disadvantage right now, I still can't count them out. 40 seconds left in the round. Both teams kind of stalling out a little bit. Jello Shots, health just ticking right down. Confirm the 2v3 that they already have, as both of these defenders are going to be stuck in the site. I'm throwing, trying to set up things right now. That kill being confirmed by Drunken Kass. Him still being left alive, as Mighty Africa is going to go back to his mighty position back there. A kill coming in from Attic, but no, he's not able to get it. I'm throwing is going to kill him. And it's going to be all left onto Mighty Africa, as he's going to try and rotate into dorms and try and get some position, knowing that they're going to be pushing Attic. One kill coming out, switching over to the shotgun. He's going to try and prevent them from pushing up a bit more. 3 seconds going down. All he has to do is deny that plant, but Drunken Kass is going to clean him up, and that is going to leave. It's going to leave UGA on map point.
Well, my friend, I spoke too soon. It might not be a 12-rounder map. It might end here in round number 11. Now, if you're a fan of Georgia Tech, you need to start praying to the god, Lord Tachanka, that this is the penultimate round, that your team is going to be able to bring it back. And right now, both of these teams are playing phenomenal. They're hitting their headshots, and they're just winning the majority of their engagements. Macro strategies are going to the win. It is just whatever team is able to put himself in a frag position, it's going to be the team that wins. It is going to be the Navy SEAL operator selected, but maybe 6 picked away to his Blackbeard. Can kind of be a cheese operator depending on the way you look at him. And it's going to be a sensible 6 pick back to Zofia.
Nothing new coming out there from Zofia. Maybe trying to throw some jokes out there to Georgia Tech right there. I know all of us have been in a ranked match before, and Blackbeard comes out, and you just have that dreadful thought of having to contest him on a window, and what you swore was a headshot, very quickly cleaned up by the fact that his shields can eat a lot of those bullets. And with that kid's dorms window, if you do play Blackbeard on there, especially in the late round, trying to catch a rotate coming over from Attic, he can play a very pivotal position, but we're not going to be seeing that. We're going to be seeing the Casanova, which has been very pivotal in trying to clear out a lot of this utility. which the attackers have utilized to clear out the breach knot from below and to open up these
5
positions.
seconds to insertion.
You're talking about a lot of utility. That's 3 ADSs and so far 2 of my
Attacker's
pancakes
objective is to
all
locate
set
a
up
bomb
in
and
the north.
defuse it.
The problem with this is that the attackers elect to do a completely different execute, which they did in the previous round. That utility will just sit there perpetually. It's the end of time. Uh-oh, Jello Shot's gonna be got a very bad rotation once again. He's now on split. He doesn't see the prone player. Now he will. He's going to go for the shot. Shots exchanged. No real extra damage other than 25 HP from an MPX, which is a pea shooter at that range. Jello Shots is wasting so much time. He could forfeit his life if he gets far too aggressive, but he's a smarter player than that. He's still going to just try to waste time without overextending.
Yeah, and a drone to boot with that. Maybe a little bit of health lost in the end, but delaying this attack as much as possible. He also ate one of those pieces of utility, acting as almost a human Wamai disc there, trying to force the attackers to get a little bit aggressive. Squash is going to be downed. Looks like he was playing over in Big Tower. That's going to be 2 defenders down, and Big Tower control is going to be given up as I'm throwing. Gets a very pivotal kill onto Jello Shots, caught in the rotate, and Squash is going to be left on the left on the ground, and that's going to be Big Tower control given to the attackers, which is going to be pivotal for that attic push as Master Bedroom Wall is going to be opened up. It's really going to be left onto Y Shotgun, Mighty Africa, and Serbine. Oh, he died from falling.
Well, that's going to be a huge blunder as 90 seconds going to chime in. Oh, chat. Who will be the successful team? It's going to be whatever team wins this gunfight. The SMG-11 is going to get it down, but the M590 is unable to confirm the next kill. It's be mainly Banana saving his teammate's life, and the defense of Georgia Tech is going to continue to crumble. Now, fortunately for them, they still have plenty of ADSs, and my pancakes thrown throughout the north side of the map. The attackers still need to drone it out. They still need to drop their utility. A frag grenade is going to go out, but still with 2 ADSs alive and active, it's not going to be enough. You're going to have to rotate your thermite on over, and there are more discs now thrown this north side. It's going to be almost impossible. It's better off to rotate your attackers on through. Casanova's going to attempt to make that happen, but the only thing he's going to make is his own demise. 40 seconds left. Either one of these teams could win, but the scoreboard is going to light up as it's now just a 1v3.
A 1v3 with Mighty Africa. He has diffuser. He can try and delay these attackers for as much as possible, getting some picks to boot. But Juan de Swan, the man of the hour, winning 2 of those rounds out for his team earlier on with some great performance, finishes up this round. That is going to be the second map for UGA. That is going to be the game. UGA advances on. Very, very wonderfully done in the end there.
A nail biter in round number 11. Either one of these rosters could have been successful. They had the right idea. They had the right play. The thing was, the attackers just won their engagements. The defenders were getting far too aggressive. They're putting themselves on islands. They're wide swinging. They're looking straight at the attackers and straight into their bullets they went.
And that exactly was it. We did get to see Serbine and Mighty Africa pull off that insane 2v4, but even being left in that same situation 2 times after that, they weren't able to make the same heroics come out of it. The attackers dumped about as much utility as possible onto Attic. I just thought it was funny. It reminded me of another game where holding Consulate Yellow Stairs, 9 flashbangs came all through in a matter of 2 seconds. It reminded me of that little bit right there. Even a little bit to boot from the thermite coming over from Master Bedroom. But nevertheless, gunfights being won, UGA on the attack. Usually the attack is not team strong suits on Oregon. They put their foot on the gas pedal, stayed aggressive the entire time, caught one player on the rotate over into Big Towers, and Squishy fallen off there. That was a little bit sad, but putting their foot on the gas pedal, getting aggressive, winning their gunfights, and absolutely dominated it. But Georgia Tech did have a good showing. Just in the end there, the gunfights didn't go their way.
And sometimes, you just need to win your engagements, and they were just putting themselves far too aggressive. That's something I've been talking about the entire time, but it looks like we have an interview primed and ready. So let's drag the man who dropped an ace in map number 2. He goes by Juan de Swan. So let's pull him on through, my friend. Welcome to CR6. Welcome to the casting booth.
Yo, what's up?
What is up indeed? Congrats on your ace. Congrats on winning the round number 32. and you're still in the premier bracket. You're going to be moving up to the next round. What is it like to, well, make that next step, being the first team to qualify for it?
Well, straight up, there's a kind of a joke around the CR6 community that UGA often gets first rounded, and let me tell you, it feels good to not have that happen.
I'm glad that it didn't happen. I'm glad you broke that curse. So let's talk about map number 1. I want to talk about round number 1. You guys did a Hail Mary play, a full send rush. Whose call was that, and what was the idea behind it?
Casanova. So he did a bit of VOD review before the game, and he saw that, they only have 2 guys on site, a smoke and a bandit. They have like 3 roamers, and they don't really put anyone downstairs. So we were like, all right, we're going to rush B1 and get in there. Now, I'm kind of a dunderhead, so I didn't hear the bathroom rush, so I ran into barrels and died. But the rest of my team, smarter than me, they went through the correct way, they got in sight, and then they just lost to Elysian, which is a little tough.
See, I love on the site fly calls like that, especially with stemming from VOD reviews. Now, you guys went to theme park for map number 1, and most teams aren't comfortable with this map. So what do you think leads most teams to be, well, afraid of it, for a lack of a better word?
It's very defender-sided, and it just leaves just the map itself leaves a bad taste in people's mouth after they play. It's not like some people they don't have fun playing it. Our team is weird because we absolutely love theme park. We adore it. And when teams don't ban it, and we know that teams hate it, like straight up, we will take you to theme park.
I mean, call me weird. It's one of my favorite maps too, so I'm with you. So you guys won it on attacker side as well. So what strategies did you guys utilize to actually accomplish that goal?
Well, the strategy is just practice on our attacks in particular. You'll probably notice by watching that is our defenses may not be up to par with some of our counterparts, but our attacks are just so much more vigorous and alive than a lot of other teams, especially Georgia Tech.
So for my last question, I want to know, you brought 5 shields on map number 2 in Oregon downstairs basement. What on earth was that?
The meta, baby. If you're not bringing a ton of shields, ADS, WMI, magnets, then you're not playing it right. Typically, we also have a Malusi there too, just to add even more pressure and just utility. It's just straight up the meta. They will not have enough, and then they'll just get hit by wubs or by shields. It's just the meta. It's not the most fun meta. I prefer the last one, but we can play it.
You're an evil man, Juan. Well, Mr. Pond, any further questions for my friend here?
Yeah, Juan, I got one quick question to ask. When you were going for that ace right there and you knew that the Jaeger was running down the stairs, were you screaming in the comms, man, let me get him, let me get him?
Yes, I was like, after the first 4 kills, I'm like, I'm going for the ace. And my teammates, I love them. They stood back and they let me get the last one. So
that's perfect. That's beautiful. Well, thank you for interviewing with us tonight, man. That was an awesome map. Your performance was absolutely stellar, man. Good luck moving on.
All right, thank you all. You have a nice day.
Cheers. Take care, bud.
Cheers.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up CR6 for the evening. Only one best of 3 where we saw the University of Georgia get the better of Georgia Tech. Phenomenal showing by both of these rosters, but there can only be one victor and one member moving on to the next round. But that's going to do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Your production team was the legendary Tango Mango Down. My co-caster was Pond. My name is Chief. Until next time, stay safe, be well, and we'll be back with you next week.
In the sky, gazing far into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you. far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light